Arena of Death, the rise and fall of Rome's fiercest gladiators. The crowd's roar echoed through the stone arches of the Colosseum, a ferocious wave of sound that sent shivers down Marcus's spine. He stood in the darkened tunnel, the scent of dust and sweat thick in the air. This was it, the moment he had been trained for, the final test of his strength, skill, and resolve. He was no longer Marcus of Rome, a soldier of the empire. He was now Marcus the Gladiator, a man whose life could end with a single swing of a blade. It had been years since he was captured on the distant fields of Gaul, a place that now felt like another lifetime. Once, he had been a proud legionnaire, serving the Roman Empire with loyalty. But betrayal had brought him here, into the blood-soaked sands of the arena. Stripped of his rank and freedom, he had fought not for honor, but for survival. Each victory in the arena earned him another day of life, but the weight of death always lingered in the shadows. Today was different. Today, the emperor himself watched from his gilded seat, eager for blood and spectacle. Marcus knew the stakes. This was no ordinary match. He had been pitted against Gaius the Butcher, an undefeated champion whose name struck fear into the hearts of every gladiator. Gaius's massive frame loomed at the other end of the arena, his scars telling the tale of countless battles won. The gates creaked open, sunlight flooding the tunnel. Marcus stepped forward, his sandals sinking into the warm sand. The crowd erupted into cheers, a chaotic mix of excitement and bloodlust. He could feel the eyes of thousands upon him, but it was the gaze of the emperor that weighed the heaviest. In that moment, Marcus's fate was no longer his own. It was a game for the entertainment of Rome. As the horn blared, signaling the start of the fight, Marcus drew his gladius, the steel blade gleaming under the sun. Gaius wasted no time, charging with the force of a bull, his heavy axe swinging in a deadly arc. Marcus sidestepped, the blade whistling past his ear. He spun on his heel, slashing at Gaius's side, but the giant was quicker than he seemed, deflecting the strike with his shield. The two men circled each other, testing, taunting. The arena became a dance of death, steel meeting steel in a clash that rang through the Colosseum. Marcus fought with precision, his movements calculated and swift, but Gaius was relentless, his brute strength overwhelming. With every block, every parry, Marcus felt the weight of exhaustion creeping into his limbs. But he couldn't falter, not now. Gaius swung again, a crushing blow aimed at Marcus's head. This time, Marcus didn't dodge. Instead, he dropped to his knees, driving his sword into the unprotected gap beneath Gaius's armor. The crowd gasped as the giant staggered, his weapon slipping from his grasp. Blood poured from the wound, darkening the sand beneath him. For a moment, time seemed to freeze, the world narrowing to the sight of Gaius falling to his knees. But the final decision wasn't Marcus's to make. He turned to the emperor, awaiting the signal that would determine Gaius's fate. The crowd chanted for death, their bloodthirsty cries rising into the heavens. The emperor, his face expressionless, raised his thumb, and then slowly turned it downward. Marcus felt no triumph as he delivered the final blow. Only the weight of another soul added to the countless he had sent to the afterlife. The arena erupted in applause, but to Marcus, it sounded distant, hollow. He had survived another day, but what was left of him? As the gates closed behind him and the cheers faded, Marcus wondered if he would ever escape this life of bloodshed. He wasn't a hero in the eyes of Rome, just another piece in the emperor's deadly game. And in his heart, he knew that no matter how many battles he won, the sands of the Colosseum would one day claim him too. But for now, he lived. And in the world of a gladiator, that was the only victory that mattered. As Marcus returned to the dim confines of the gladiator barracks, the sound of distant cheers still echoed faintly in his ears, but his mind was elsewhere. He slumped onto the cold stone bench, the weight of his sword resting in his lap, blood-stained but victorious. Around him, the other gladiators cast weary glances, some with envy, others with quiet respect, for he had done what many believed impossible. Yet, in the silence of the chamber, all Marcus could think about was the emptiness that victory brought. The thrill of battle had long faded, replaced by a hollow sense of survival, mere existence in the face of constant death. The faces of fallen foes haunted him, and Gaius's dying eyes lingered like a shadow. How many more before he was truly free? Or would freedom always be a distant, unreachable dream? Outside, the flickering torches illuminated the night as Marcus lay on his cot, staring at the cracked ceiling. His thoughts drifted to the life he had left behind, the comrades lost, the family he barely remembered, and the ideals he once held. Each fight in the arena had chipped away at his humanity, turning him into a weapon, a living symbol of Rome's hunger for conquest.